Welcome to the Deep Dive.
Hey there.
Today, we're really plunging headfirst into one of the most defining pop culture sagas of the late 2010s.
Oh, yeah. Which one's that?
The whole intricate web of celebrity friendships and feuds surrounding, well, Taylor Swift.
Oh, okay. That's a big one.
Definitely. We've gone through like a massive stack of sources, articles, interviews, public statements, you name it, trying to really unpack the surprising facts and, the core insights behind her famous celebrity squad and those epic public battles.
Battles that really reshaped her career and, honestly, the whole celebrity landscape.
Exactly. Our mission here is to understand not just what happened, but why it mattered so much. Why it mattered to her journey, and, well, to us watching it all unfold.
It's a really fascinating study, isn't it? Because you have Taylor Swift becoming, arguably the biggest pop star of the last, decade or two?
Easily.
And her friend group, they were the IT girls of 2015, no question. But that huge rise, it came alongside some really intense public conflict, stuff that forced her to completely reinvent herself.
Right.
And how she navigated that, how she rebuilt. It tells you so much about fame in, the digital age we're in now.
Okay, so let's unpack this. The entertainment industry, as you know, it puts this incredibly high value on social capital connections.
Oh, absolutely. It's all about who you know.
But that also makes it super difficult for these public figures to trust people's intentions, right? It can lead to, real loneliness.
Definitely a unique struggle for stars at that level.
Yeah.
It's isolating.
Yeah.
And what's kind of striking here is that Taylor's squad, it seems like it formed pretty organically out of that basic human need, for relatable, trustworthy friends.
So it wasn't just strategic.
Well, maybe a bit of both, but the core seemed genuine. And she made this powerful transformation, didn't she? From the girl everyone felt like was their best friend to the girl everyone wanted to be friends with.
That's a great way to put it. A deliberate shift, but it felt authentic somehow. It resonated.
It really did.
And some of those early bonds are just legendary. Like her friendship with Selena Gomez, that goes way back to 2008.
Right. The story is they connected because they were both dating Jonas Brothers, Taylor with Joe, Selena with Nick.
Wild. How did that friendship grow from there?
Well, it seemed like their shared experiences, especially with breakups, really cemented things. They talked a lot about understanding each other on a soul level.
Aww.
And it wasn't just casual. It was kind of groundbreaking, actually. Like one of the first times a big Disney Channel star had such a public, mainstream friendship.
Yeah, you didn't see that often back then.
No. And the media just ate it up. They were captivated. It almost set a new template for young Hollywood friendships.
Okay, so she had that core bond with Selena. But the squad we really remember from the 1989 era, that was much bigger. How did that circle expand?
So around 2013, as Taylor's making that big pivot into pop music, she starts meeting a lot of these future squad members, at red carpets, fashion shows.
Usual places.
Exactly.
It feels like a strategic expansion, but maybe also a natural network. Names like Haley Steinfeld, Zendaya, they brought in that rising Hollywood talent.
Right.
Then the Haim sisters, they added a kind of cool, different musical vibe.
Love Haim.
Yeah. And then Carly Kloss, the supermodel. Her presence really solidified that whole IT girl, fashion-forward image of.
Okay.
And there were others too, right? Lena Dunham, Lily Aldridge, Lord Martha Hunt, Cara Delevingne, Ruby Rose, a whole mix.
It was quite the lineup. And then 1989 hits, and that era just launches the squad into total public dominance.
Oh, absolutely. The album, the tour, it all became this massive promotional vehicle for the group.
It felt like every night on tour she was bringing someone else out. Nelly, Fetty Wap.
Julia Roberts, Ellen, Justin Timberlake, Mick Jagger, Mary J. Blige. The list was insane.
It really was.
Yeah.
And the press just went into overdrive reporting on it, framing Taylor as the queen bee of young Hollywood. Yeah. It was unavoidable.
Completely. But that incredible visibility, it almost immediately collided with, some serious public comment. Right.
And one of the first big ones, which had kind of been simmering, was with Katy Perry.
Ah, yes. They had history, right?
They did. Friends from about 2008 to 2011, seen together a lot, competing on the charts. Katy was Capitol Records' Golden Girl back then, their biggest star.
Oh, so what was the flashpoint? What really, according to the sources, ignited that whole firestorm?
It seems to boil down to backup dancers in 2012.
Dancers? Really?
Yeah. Katy Perry apparently tried to hire several backup dancers away from Taylor's Red Tour for her own Prismatic World Tour.
Okay.
And this happened not long after Katy started dating John Mayer, who was Taylor's ex. So that added, another layer. Felt like a betrayal.
Oof. Yeah, I can see that. What did the dancers themselves say about it?
Well, they told publications Katy was like family. They were pretty open about getting a little bored on Taylor's tour and wanting to do promo with Katy. They also said Taylor felt untouchable. more protected, making Katie seem more accessible. So their take was they just wanted to go back to family.
Okay. And this is where it gets really fascinating because Taylor hits back very publicly with Bad Blood.
In 2015, she tells Rolling Stone songs about a major star who tried to sabotage an entire arena tour by hiring her people.
But she also says she's surprisingly non-confrontational and hates conflict.
Right. And then literally the next day, Katy Perry tweets, "Watch out for the Regina George in sheep's clothing."
Wow, direct shot.
And later she told Billboard basically, if someone comes for her, you're going to hear about it. The lines were drawn.
Then the Bad Blood music video drops in May 2015. That felt like a huge moment.
Monumental. It had Taylor's whole squad, like you said, in this kind of Mad Max action movie style.
It was epic.
And it basically served as the official launch of the squad.
Right.
This wasn't just a music video. It was pure narrative control.
How so?
Well, Taylor strategically stays quiet about who the song is about. She lets the public connect the dots. It turned this, private dispute into a massive public state. It changed how people saw celebrity feuds, forced other stars to think about their image. She turned weakness into power, really.
But the drama kept rolling. The 2015 VMAs, Nicki Minaj wasn't happy about Anaconda not getting nominated for Video of the Year.
Right. She went on Twitter, implying bias towards slim bodies.
And Taylor jumped in, saying, "I've done nothing but love and support you. It's unlike you to pit women against each other."
Which Nicki then clarified wasn't about Taylor specifically. They ended up performing together at the VMAs, kind of smoothing it over on stage.
But then Katy Perry tweets something confusing about the irony of parading the pit women against other women argument while capitalizing on taking another woman down.
Yeah, that felt like a pretty clear, if slightly veiled, shot at Taylor. Just adding more fuel to the fire, making it all very public.
And the public digs just kept coming, didn't they?
Oh, yeah. Remember the Left Shark showing up during a Bad Blood performance?
Oh, yes. A direct hit at Katie's Super Bowl moment.
Totally. Then later, Taylor clarifies to GQ she never actually pointed a finger for Bad Blood, implying the obvious target wasn't who she wanted associated with it. She said it was about loss of a friendship, not heartbreak.
Trying to reframe it a bit.
Exactly. And then Katy Perry releases a fragrance called Mad Love.
Which is a lyric from Bad Blood.
Right. It showed how they were using literally everything, every platform, to take these subtle jabs at each other.
And it wasn't just them. Even Taylor's ex, Calvin Harris, got dragged in publicly.
Ugh, yeah, that was messy. After Taylor was revealed as a co-writer on his track, This Is What You Came For,
which was a huge hit.
Huge. He goes on this Twitter rant directly mentioning the Katie, etc. situation.
Yeah.
Said something like, "I know you need someone new to try and bury like Katie, etc., but I'm not that guy."
Ouch.
And Katie just replies with that Hillary Clinton eyebrow raised gif and tweets, "Time the ultimate truth teller." It really showed how these things just pull everyone connected into the orbit.
So the feud escalates again with Katie's song Swish Swish featuring Nicki Minaj.
Yeah, that was widely seen as a direct diss track. And Katie got pretty candid in interviews around that.
What did she say?
Things like Taylor started it and it's time for her to finish it.
Yeah.
And that she tried to talk to Taylor but got a full shutdown. It was rare for Katie to be so direct public. Felt like she was pushing back harder.
And Taylor's friends got involved too.
Yep. Ruby Rose, who's part of the squad, shaded Katie on Twitter, criticized her for rebranding as a political activist only to ditch it and go low.
Ooh. And then Taylor pulls that power.
The Spotify drop, releasing her entire back catalog onto Spotify the exact same day Katie's album Witness came out.
That felt incredibly calculated.
Oh, it was pure strategy. A direct counter-programming move that just highlighted how intense things were between them.
There were also those rumors about Karlie Kloss, right? That she might have switched.
Yeah, speculation lingered. When the New York Times asked her directly about falling out with Taylor, Karlie just said, "Don't believe everything you read."
Which isn't exactly a denial.
Not at all. And then Taylor didn't go to either of Karlie's weddings, but Katy Perry and Scooter Braun, two major figures in Taylor's public feuds, were at the second one.
That definitely raised eyebrows, fed the narrative of shifting alliances.
For sure.
But eventually this massive feud did actually end, publicly anyway.
Yeah, it ended with Katie sending Taylor a literal olive branch. And a heartfelt note, apparently.
Hey, and then they hugged it out in the "You Need to Calm Down" video, dressed as a burger and fries.
Iconic. A very public, very quirky resolution to a long, very visible fight showed that even these huge celebrity beasts can eventually cool off.
Okay, so that was Katie. But then there's the other massive, maybe even more seismic feud, Kanye West and the Kardashians.
Right. And what people often forget, which is key context, is that Taylor and Kanye were actually public friends in 2015.
Seriously, I think many people miss that.
Yeah. Seen together at the Grammys, hinting at collaborating. Taylor even said she felt Kanye had to actually respect her first.
And didn't she present him with an award?
Yep, the Video Vanguard Award in summer 2015. He sent her this humongous bouquet of flowers afterwards. Things seemed good.
Which makes what happened next even more dramatic, less than 9 months later.
Kanye drops Famous at his Yeezy fashion show with that lyric, I feel like me and Taylor might still have sex. Yep. I made that bitch famous.
Yeah. Wow. And squad members were there.
Yeah. Gigi Hadid was there, got caught in the middle. She quickly tweeted her loyalty to Taylor, saying being there didn't mean she agreed with the song.
How did Kanye try to spin it afterward?
He immediately claimed Taylor gave him permission for the lyric.
But Taylor's team pushed back hard.
Instantly. Her spokesperson said Kanye only called to ask Taylor to premiere the song on her Twitter, and that Taylor actually strongly urged him not to release it because it was misogynistic.
Okay, so conflicting stories right away.
Right. And then just 3 days later, Taylor gives that incredible 2016 Grammy speech.
Oh, yeah. The one warning about people trying to undercut your success or take credit for your accomplishments or your fame.
It felt like such a direct, yet incredibly classy response to Kanye.
Yeah.
Left very little doubt who she was talking about.
The whole thing got even worse with the famous music video, didn't it?
Oh, God, yeah. That video with the super realistic naked wax figures of celebrities, including Taylor, all in bed together.
So creepy and provocative.
Extremely. Taylor was reportedly rightfully mortified. Just another escalation, pushing boundaries.
Then came the moment that really shifted everything. July 2016, Kim Kardashian gets involved.
Yep. First, there's a Kardashian episode where Kim tries to paint Kanye as the victim somehow.
Right.
And then she leaks that edited phone call on Snapchat. The one that made it look like Taylor approved the sex line and was cool with the whole thing.
That was a masterclass in manipulating public perception. It made Taylor look two-faced.
Totally. It was brutal. How did Taylor respond to being ambushed like that?
Her response was immediate and strong. Posted on Instagram basically saying, where's the video of him telling me he'd call me that bitch? It doesn't exist because it never happened.
Right. She hammered the point. You cannot approve a song you haven't heard. And that she never got the full story.
And ended with that iconic line, I would very much like to be excluded from this narrative.
Which perfectly captured how it felt like she was trapped in their drama. And it's worth mentioning Taylor later hinted that Scooter Braun might have been orchestrating things behind the scenes, using his clients against her. Adds another layer of industry power play.
But she wasn't totally alone. Her squad rallied around her.
They did, very publicly. Selena Gomez tweeted about talking about more important things, needing less hate.
Yeah.
Chloe Grace Moretz called out Kim directly. Ruby Rose went after Khloe Kardashian for bullying. Martha Hunt called the whole thing a fabricated story. That public support from her core group was solid.
But not everyone was on her side. There were critics, too.
Definitely showed the divide. Miley Cyrus said she didn't do celebrity squads, preferred real people. Demi Lovato criticized the squad's image, the slim body, calling it unrealistic.
Right, that body image criticism came up a few times.
Did. And while all this was going on, Katy Perry, remember, still feuding with Taylor then, posts videos of herself dancing to Famous at Kanye's concert.
Whoa, clearly picking a side.
Oh, yeah. A very public signal of support for Kanye in that moment.
Taylor herself called this period a career death.
She did. And then in August 2017, she drops, Look What You Made Me Do. The video was packed with Kardashian references.
The car crash, the editing screenshots.
Yeah. Her reputation felt like completely tarnished. The Reputation album was make or break. A huge gamble to reclaim her story.
But the full truth, the unedited story, didn't really come out until years later, did it?
No, not fully. In 2019, she told Rolling Stone she was tired of Kanye's two-faced behavior nice in private, dragging her in public.
Okay.
But the bombshell was in 2020, when the full, unedited phone call leaked.
And that changed everything.
Completely. Because it showed Kanye never asked her about being called that bitch. It showed Taylor was really hesitant, hadn't heard the final song. It provided all the missing context.
What was the internet's reaction to that?
It just exploded. People who'd sided with Kim were suddenly, eating their words, realized they'd bought into a manipulated narrative.
Did Kim respond?
Her final reply basically admitted it, didn't deny the word bitch was used without permission. That implicit admission was huge. It finally validated Taylor's side and exposed the original leak's deception.
So despite all of that, Taylor Swift really did prevail in the end. Her resilience is kind of incredible.
It really is. Highest paid woman in music, dominating the planet. She turned what she called a career death, where everything felt stripped away, into arguably the most lucrative career ever.
It's remarkable, turning adversity into strength on a massive scale.
But the psychological cost was huge. She talked about it in 2023.
What did she say?
The whole fully manufactured frame job, the illegal recording, it took me down psychologically. Said she moved abroad, couldn't trust people, wouldn't answer calls, pushed everyone away.
Wow. It shows the intense personal toll these public battles take, even when you...
Absolutely. Even for someone seemingly untouchable.
So where does the squad stand now? Has it changed much?
It's definitely evolved. She's still clearly close with Selena, Haley Williams, the Haim sisters. Those bonds seem enduring.
But others have drifted.
Yeah, people like Karlie Kloss, maybe Zendaya, they seem to have drifted. But sources say there weren't, like, big dramatic blowouts.
Just life, friendships changing.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And those members still seem to speak highly of Taylor, even if they're not in daily contact. It feels more like a natural evolution of adult friendships than more drama.
Okay, so this whole deep dive, looking at the squad, the feud, what does it tell us?
I mean, it really reveals the incredibly intricate and sometimes brutal dynamics of fame, information, and power in our digital world.
Yeah.
From friendships that look curated, even if they're partly real, to strategically leaked phone calls. The narratives built around public figures are so powerful. They shape perception and they shape actual lives.
It's a really vivid picture of how public and private lives get tangled, constructed, and sometimes weaponized online.
Definitely.
Wow. What an incredible journey we've taken, really. From watching this powerful squad form to navigating these absolutely career-defining feuds.
Yeah.
And seeing how ultimately one of the world's biggest stars managed to come out even stronger.
It's quite a story. And it leaves you thinking, doesn't it? In a world where so much personal information is online, where public narratives can be so carefully crafted, maybe even manipulated.
It's our role in it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What responsibility do we as the people consuming all this information have? How do we discern truth from perception? And how might that change how we look at celebrity, public figures, and these kinds of conflicts going forward?